Game 7, Western Conference semifinals. The Clippers versus the Nuggets. Who wins Game 7 and why? So this is a multiple choice answer. This is A, Clippers, B, Nuggets, C, we get an upset, and D, none of the above. A, Clippers win. B, C, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George rise to the occasion, do what they have to do, execute, and overwhelm the Nuggets. B, Nuggets win. Nuggets finally show that their fast break offense is intact. Their pick and roll comes up big. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray win. They edge out the Clippers by 4 or 5 points. C, we get an upset in terms of Paul George not showing up. Kawhi Leonard holds down the fort and everybody else collapses. Doc Rivers unable to get the guys up. D, nobody wins. It's we get a game where nobody plays how they're supposed to play because the pressure is too much. We don't even get to see the same teams that we've been seeing throughout the playoffs. So we don't get to see Denver's high-powered offense. We get some kind of weird injury that influences the game, and we walk away from that Game 7 saying, if so-and-so didn't get hurt, they would be in the Western Conference Finals. You can make a case for each and every one of these scenarios. Clippers have shown they can be the best team in the series. However, they have shown they could blow leads in the series, which is so frustrating. Denver has shown that they can actually play with the Clippers, but they haven't done it in a consistent clip, which is so frustrating. The Denver Nuggets let you know we could be down 19. We're never out of a game because we play fast and we shoot threes. The Clippers let you know that we could never really close a game because of the history and then the fact that they take their feet off the gas. This series, because it has gone 7 games, I'm going to tell you the keys to Game 7. Fatigue, mental ability, and discipline. Fatigue factor plays into the hands of the Nuggets. The Nuggets, they live for stuff like this. They're young. They can recover quicker. The games are basically a day apart. So every other day that you're playing basketball. That doesn't favor the Clippers. Mentally, I'm going to tell you this. Mentality favors the Nuggets. They've been down before 3-1. They've played this is going to be 4 Game 7s in a row since last year. They played Game 7 against the Spurs, Game 7 against the Portland Trail Blazers, Game 7 against the Utah Jazz, Game 7 against the Clippers. 4 in a row. Mentally, they know what goes into it. Mentality-wise, they feel like they're never down. And mentality-wise, it just doesn't favor the Clippers because Kawhi Leonard has played a Game 7 against the Miami Heat, lost that. Paul George played a Game 7, I believe it was against the Toronto Raptors, lost that. After he showed up for the first 3 games of that Toronto series, I believe it was a few years ago, in Indiana, lost that. Played a 7-game series, I believe, against the Miami Heat as well. Was it 6? One year they won 6, one year they won 7. This favors the Denver Nuggets. Mentally, they know no pressure on us, pressure on the Clippers. It's not up to us to win this series, you know what I'm saying? It's up to the Clippers to win this series because nobody counted us to win this series. So we playing with house money. No pressure at all, guys. We good. We able. We limber. Discipline, however, favors the Clippers. And in high stressful situations, and guess what? You could flip that and say it favors the Nuggets because the Clippers have not been disciplined enough to maintain their lead and win the game. Fouling when they're not supposed to, putting Denver on the line, slowing the game up, stuff like that. But overall, discipline-wise, you could say the Clippers because they have more systems in place from Doc Rivers than Mike Malone. You could obviously see the way that the Denver Nuggets play basketball is very sporadic, very wild, it's a lot of chaos. It's not even organized. However, you look at the Clippers, organized. You know who's getting the ball late in the shot clock. You know it's either Kawhi Leonard. If Kawhi Leonard's not in the game, Paul George gets the ball. If it doesn't boil down to that, somebody off the bench gets a wide open shot. So the Clippers have the best ability in the series, which is they generate a ton of good shots, good open shots. But the Nuggets, they have a wild factor, which is they can hit you in burst and recover quickly. And mentally, they know they're never out of a game because they're fast-paced. It's sort of like the last Super Bowl with the 49ers. They were very disciplined, did everything by the book, except for that one timeout they didn't take at halftime, which I'm still tight about. I'm real mad about that. But back to the Clippers and Nuggets. While the Kansas City Chiefs we're gonna say the Kansas City Chiefs are the Denver Nuggets, we can hit you with 20 points in a row in 3 minutes. So the Clippers are sort of like the 49ers, where they're heavy hitting. They got guys that are stars that on defense and stuff like that. But the Denver Nuggets, they got the Mahomes home run hitter, and then they got guys that can hit you with a quick clip. And that's the danger. Because while the Clippers are more disciplined, the mentality and their mindset going into this is going to hurt them. The Clippers are going to win this game. There's no way they're going to lose this game. We're going to get a LeBron, Kawhi Leonard, Western Conference Finals. While my head is telling me pick the Clippers for all those reasons, my heart is telling me the Denver Nuggets are going to win this game. I'm still going to pick the Clippers for Game 7. Also, this is not like a huge upset because this is 2 and 3 going against each other, prospectively in the Western Conference. But am I going to be surprised if the Nuggets pull this out? No. And here's what's to watch. If the Nuggets get a big lead on the Clippers aren't winning. They're not winning. They're not winning. If the Clippers, however, they get a lead on the Nuggets, and it's 50-50. Like, when I mean a big lead, I mean 15-point lead. 10 to 15, not 10 to 15, 13 to 15-point lead. If the Nuggets get that lead on the Clippers, mentally they're going to be shot. They're going to start pressing. And you saw that down the end of the stretch when the Nuggets started going on their run and hitting threes and Jokic was hitting threes. They started panicking. All right, time to put Zubac in. What's Zubac going to do? He can't move laterally enough to contest those threes and get in the pick and roll. And that's what they were doing. They were putting them in the pick and roll. They were putting Lou Williams in the pick and roll. So the Nuggets have figured a couple of things out against the Clippers. So if the Nuggets come out hot, stirring hot, I don't expect the Clippers to win the Game 7. But to me, Game 7s have always been a grind-out game, more grind-out. So that's going to favor the Clippers, especially in terms of the discipline-wise, because Kawhi Leonard is going to always play great. Here's the problem with my pick. Paul George. Paul George is wildly inconsistent. He's mentally weak, and he will jack up a lot of bad shots, which will play right into Denver's hands. So my hope is this. Denver just has an off night because right now Denver is playing with house money. And I got to tell you, like, I don't know if you ever play video games against somebody, like you're playing a series. Let's just say you're beating somebody, you beat them, and every other game you guys is going back and forth, and you kind of cement, like, okay, I'm good, I'm better than you in this game. You beat them 2 in a row, 3 in a row. Let's just say the next day you come back and you play the game and they beating you 3 times in a row. Or let's say you pick up one-on-one. You had a couple of days where you beat somebody consistently, and then the next week you guys come back and play, and you can't get anything off on them, and they're basically running you out the gym, one-on-one or whatever the case is. They figured you out. Initially, they could have figured you out, or maybe they had an injury, or maybe their mind wasn't in it. But when their mind is in it, and when somebody's beating you 3 games in a row, and you thought you had the upper hand on them, that doubt creeps in. You're like, wait a minute. Is this the same controller? Is this the same basketball? Is this the same hoop? Am I the same person? Like, do I need to go back in bed? And that's what's going on with the Clippers right now. They're second guessing themselves, rightfully so, because all of the deep roster and everything like that, deep guys, the guys that Montrezl Harrell, 6th man of the year, Lou Williams, previous 6th man of the year, all Shamet, he's a 3-point sniper. Guys that are now scoring 1 point, 14, 8. 5 points. It's like Marcus Morris, like, oh snap, like we ain't as good as we thought we was, bro. And that's the issue that the Clippers are facing there. So I'm picking the Clippers because that's the conventional pick. That's what I think will play. I don't think it's gonna be an up and down game. That game might end 91 to 87 or 92 to 85. Honestly, I'm just gonna be honest with you. However, let that game get in the hundreds. Let the Nuggets get a 10-point lead. It's over. It's over. They're going to start draining stuff because that's the way they play. They play fast, open, and loose, and the Clippers have basically opened up the can of Pringles and let the Nuggets back out, and they ain't going back in. So the Clippers are going to have to either figure out how to slow the game down, which I know they can. Your mindset, where's your mind? I don't think the Clippers' mindset for Game 7 is not. It's not going to be unshaken. Kawhi Leonard, I know I'm good with Kawhi Leonard. He knows what it takes. But everybody else, I don't trust them. So Look for Kawhi Leonard to get the ball early and often, attack early and often, but also look for the Nuggets to expose some people. I'll pick Marcus Morris, you're getting exposed. Lou Williams, you're getting exposed. Anybody that's an old head on that team, they basically not going to play. They're not going to play. They're going to play limited minutes. Expect to see Paul George out there a lot. Expect to see him jacking a lot of shots. Hoops Junction with Hoops Meets Hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.